Okay, so lesson 8.1, solving equations with rational coefficients. You might be like, what does that even mean? But here's a good thing. You know what half these words mean already. Coefficient, that was a vocabulary word we had last chapter. What does that mean? What's a coefficient?
It's just a main number.
A number with a
Variable.
Okay, so it's a number with a variable. Okay, so number 1, we already know what a coefficient is. Check that off the list. Number 2, rational. What is a rational number? Okay, that's one example. It's any number that can be turned into a fraction. Okay, so today, your coefficients, so the numbers with the variables, turn around because you're not going to look around all day like that. Okay, so the numbers with the variables are either going to be decimals or fractions today. Okay, so we're starting simple. This is simple, honestly. So the first thing on your notebook, what I want you to write is decimal equations, because these are the ones we're going to practice first. Decimal equations. Now you can put this example on your paper, but then I want you to stop. I want you to try to solve it. I don't want you to do anything. Okay, so before I solve this or kind of show you what to do, let's just take a step backwards and talk about a problem or an equation without the decimal. Okay, so if I have this, okay, that's a simple equation. 9x equals 18. I know, you know in your head x equals what already? 2. But how do I get there? Okay, time out. When I have an equation, if you were in my room last year, remember the first thing I showed you was a balance. Things have to be balanced on equations. Okay? And if you do one thing to one side, what do you got to do to the other side? The same thing to keep it balanced. Okay? So if I have 9 times x right here, my goal is to get this by itself. I need to get rid of this 9. If this is 9 times x, what can I do to undo this, Maddie? I'm going to divide. I'm not subtracting. Because what does this say? 9 times x? To undo that, I have to do the opposite. So if I'm multiplying, guess what? I got to divide. Now, when I do that, what's 9 divided by 9? 1. It's like nothing happened. It's pretty much canceled out. Okay? Okay, I already got x by itself on one side. But, what do I got to do? On the other side. By 9. So x equals 2. All right, so everybody can remember that. So now let's go work with those decimals up here. I have 4.2x equals negative 52.5. What's my first step? Yeah, here? Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. What if he would have said, I'm going to divide 52.5 divided by 52.5? I can't do that. What you start with has to have a variable. And the reason why I can't do my way that I just said 52 divided by 52 is because remember the balance? You have to have something on both sides. If I would take that away and cross it out, guess what? I really don't have anything on the other side. So I have to start with my variables. So then we're at, like he said, 4.2. Same thing on this side. Okay? You are actually going to have to do the problems today. You're going to have to divide them out. But here's the good thing. They don't last forever. They don't come out to be goofy numbers. So, what number goes in the box? Okay? Divided by 4.2. I have to move the decimal. Right. That's one thing you got to take yourself back to 7th grade or 6th grade. You got to say, okay, when I divide by decimal, I have to move the decimal over. The same amount of times on both sides. Then, here's the deal. When you're done moving that decimal that second time, put it on the top right away. If you don't, 2 things are going to happen. Either you're not going to have a decimal at all in your answer because you're going to forget, or your decimal's going to be in the wrong spot because you're going to say, oh, I really don't know where my decimal goes, so I'll just put it right here because I think that looks right. Okay, don't do that. If it's here, put it up right away. That will help you. If you cannot figure out how to line up your numbers, use graph paper. The graph paper, you can use the boxes to help you keep things in line. That's a really good idea if you struggle with moving your decimals and stuff. All right, so 42 goes into 52 once. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Minus 42. I get 10, 105. It goes in twice, I believe. Minus 84. I come out with 21. Bring down a 0. Yep, 5. So my x is 12.5. And I do need a negative. Thank you. I forget that sometimes when I do my fractions or my decimals. Okay. So, this is what, it's going to test you on your division skills today. Yeah, sometimes it's going to test your division skills. Just the way it is. Can I move to the next slide? Okay, so on this slide I have two problems. So let's do this. How about this side of the room? You do this. Okay? This side of the room, you do this one. One of them comes out in a decimal, the other one comes out in a whole number. Okay, so, and the decimal only goes to the tens place. So, nope. Good try. Yes. You do both if you want. You go for it. Maybe he's just trying to work his brain. We know you don't want to do that. Figured out which one's which, Riley? Okay, so even two, if you look at this one, it's set up just a little different. You see that the answer's first and the variable second. It's not a big deal. So divide by 6.6, divide by 5.6. Shouldn't. It stops in the tenths, right? Move it over once. I think it's 3 and 5. I think it's 3.5. Isn't it? 3.5 for this. What? Okay, so timeout. Let's figure this out. 56 times 3, 8, 668. Is that right? Goes in 28. There you go. Did you make this 2? What'd you do? You know what? I noticed that. You know what? I noticed that. I noticed that in somebody else when I was doing a division problem with them. They didn't go another time to make sure it didn't come out. The way you know if it should go in another time is this number will be higher than this. That's how you know if it goes in another time. So you put it in twice, right? Right? Okay, so what'd you get? 112. Let's subtract that. 6, 4, 8. You got 74? Or 84. See how this number's higher than 86 or 56? If this number's higher, then it goes in one more time. That's an easy way to determine if it goes in an extra time. Okay? But did you get 3.5 for the answer? That's what matters. This one right here. Which one goes in the house? 250.8 goes in the house. Divided by 20.9. And you know what? The answer's 12. Yep. Okay? Yep, nice and easy. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna like keep doing this and doing this and doing this with decimals. Because number one, you should know how to solve decimal problems. All you need to do for this is divide. No, we're gonna do fractions, yeah, and then we're gonna be done. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Ready? Okay, on your notebook, put fraction equations down. Fraction equations. Okay. Now let me explain how this works. It's going to work the exact same way that you did before, only you got a fraction in it. And guess what? Once we do something, I'll show you this. What are we going to divide here? Okay. Watch this. Look at this problem now. It says 1/4 divided by 9. We did this already. It was called complex fractions, where we had a fraction inside a fraction. Do you remember that? Okay, so now what you will do is you rewrite it out in a problem that looks like this, right? Then you're going to flip the last one. So then it looks like this. 1/4 times 1/9. 1/36 would be your answer. Okay? It gets me confused too. That's why I always just flip the second one. Then you don't gotta worry about the butterfly stuff. That confuses me too. I don't like that either. Like this. I don't like that. But you stick with whatever you like. Okay? Alright. Fine. Fine. Okay. Let's do this one together. And then I'll let you do one by yourself. So first thing I'm going to do, it's 5 6x equals 5 eighths. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 5 6 because that's the one with my variable. Do the same thing to this side. Just 5 eighths divided by 5. Which one goes first? The top one always goes first. So 5 eighths divided by 5 6. 5 eighths times 6 over 5, right? 1, 1, 3, 4, 3 fourths. X equals 3 fourths. Okay. I did already. I did. Okay, time out. Does anybody have any questions on how to do this? I mean, do I need to... Here, why don't you try one by yourself? Try this one by yourself. Try this one by yourself. Yep. You gotta change that to an improper fraction. But you don't gotta do it till later if you don't want to. You put the wrong one first in your fraction. So I gotta divide by 9/10. I gotta divide by 9/10. So this one has to compare. So it'd be 51 over 10 divided by 9/10. 51 over 10 times 10 over 9. I can reduce by a lot. I can reduce by 3 if I want.
Hello.
There. That's right. That's on you. Okay. 51 over 9. I can actually make this an improper fraction. I think it's 5 over 9 and 6 and 5 and 3 2/3, I believe. Yep. Okay, time out. I cannot talk to everybody at one time. It does not work that way. First. No. Nope. Nope, nope, no, no, no. You have to put it all together. You have to make an improper fraction. Okay. Yes. Always. Always, always, always. The one on top always goes on the beginning. Okay, I have one more thing I need to show you. And if you want to label it in your notebook, you can call them oddball equations. Because they're odd. They're odd. Oddball equations. Because there's some we don't see often. Okay? So for example, I have this up here. I have -2 in parentheses 6y equals 144. What do I need to do before I solve? Yes. Nope. I'm going to multiply this times this. -12y equals 144. And then I can solve by just dividing like I was doing before. I should get 12. -12. Thank you. Okay. And then over here, okay, so you see what I did? First you multiply, and then you can solve. What do you think I got to do here? I got to put together what I can put together. So it'll be 9x equals 81. X is 9. Okay? So do you see how these are a little different than the ones we saw before? You're going to have about 2 of them on your homework. They are really.